The Suns won their season opener. The D-backs are going to the World Series, and my night is ruined by my stupid hockey team. Roll it.
You're Locked On Coyotes, your daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the show, everybody. This is Locked On Coyotes, your number one daily podcast on the Arizona Coyotes. I'm your host, Robyn Leonio, alongside Matthew Jacobson. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code Locked On NHL for $20 off your first purchase. We want to thank everyone also for making this show your first listen every day. We're free and available everywhere you get your podcasts, including on YouTube, the Sirius XM radio app, and ad-free on Amazon Music. Today, we're going to talk about the Coyotes losing a game on the road, 6-3 to the Kings, on a day in which most people in the Valley should be celebrating. And again, we're not going to take away the celebration, but as Matthew said, the Coyotes loss kind of killed the vibe a little bit, especially if you're a massive hockey fan.
Yeah. I just love the fact how I can literally get most other things that I want in a day, and my mood is still ruined by my hockey team because this game, for full disclosure, I was primarily watching Game 7 for the D-backs. I woke up like in the 5th inning for that, so I'm kind of standing in this doorway watching the Coyotes here, D-backs over there. Jack McBain scores the first goal. 3 unanswered Kings goals. It's embarrassing. I'm just angry. I'm just really, really angry. My voice for some reason has given up on me, and that kind of makes me angrier. And I want to scream and curse, but I'm not allowed to. So I have to be like, dang nabbit, gosh darn it. Slap my wife and call me Billy. I don't know, other expressions to convey my disappointment in this game, because the Coyotes start off hot, immediately die off. You have Connor Ingram, who, yes, the goaltending was so consistently good. Craig Morgan is probably right. They were due for a bad game. It is what it is. It's one game. Season's not over. But I could still be mad about it. Melko plays solidly enough, and the team just kind of, they die off, come back a little bit. It's a 1-goal game that's waved off due to an offside. They lose by 3. I wanted to throw a remote control. I have no reason to want to throw a remote control. I wanted to throw a remote control.
Oh, I hear you. Yeah. No, it just gets to the point where it can just get that annoying, right? And because I think the problem is a lot of the problems the Coyotes have had in the past couple of years still stick around. It's just that this team has better talent in the previous couple of years. You still cannot play a full game, and they make the simple fundamental mistakes that just eat away at games they should be winning.
Yeah, or at least closer in. All right, because this is the first game of the season that they lost by more than 1 goal.
And the Kings are a relatively good team. They're in the upper half of the Pacific Division. They're even like a playoff team in many people's eyes. So, like, you can't discount that either. But it's still a game in which the Coyotes should have played better.
Yeah, I don't mind losing. Anyone that has watched me for years now, I do not mind losing. It happens. You will not go 82-0. It's unreasonable to assume you're going to do that. You're not going to go 70, 12-0 or whatever. It happens. I just hate the way they lose. I just hate how you have the hot start, literally basically give the game away. So 3 unanswered goals. You go to the second period. Bukestad brings it within 1. Then Lazat makes it 4-2. Keller gets it right back in on the power play from Cooley and Schmaltz, making it 4-3 heading into the third. And then, I'm sitting over here. I watched a good portion of the first, and almost the entirety of the third. The second, I was pretty much watching D-backs and Suns over here. But I'm listening to their goal horn. Like I can hear it from the living room. And I'm like, oh, hey, Coyotes are down again. Oh, hey, they're down again. Oh, hey, they got back into it. Nope, no, they're down again.
Not gonna lie, that Kings goal horn sometimes, well, I will admit, lives rent free in my head. Anytime I hear something that sounds like it, I'm just like, I just get this like trauma because like as a born and raised Sharks fan and as now a Coyotes reporter and kind of adopted fan, it's that goal horn, the Kings goal horn, just gives me so much trauma, and I hate it.
It's not as weird as ASU's new goal horn, where like it's
okay,
like
that gave me
it's
trauma.
Like, oh, will
for
you be my
reason.
girl? It's so weird. It's a weird goal song. Stop it,
yeah.
Please. But this is Coyotes, not ASU. One of those two teams is undefeated right now, and it's not the Coyotes.
And aren't they up also like at what 13th in the nation right now according to
Yep,
some rankings?
13th,
US
4-0-0 or 4-0-0, best start in program history. They've continued it. I would like to. Hey Sean, if you're watching this episode, I know we have Locked On Sun Devils. Branch it out to Sun Devils hockey, and I want to host that show. Anyway, I'll be happier after hosting Locked On Sun Devils hockey than for Coyotes games because this felt like a game from last year, but more frustrating because you have better talent. And when the talent doesn't work hard, that's when I start getting angry. And then it does, and then they start playing better, and it looks better, and then it dies off again. And then the game really was decided when the Barrett Hayton goal was waved off because all of the wind was out of their sails. They couldn't get anything done. Just from that point on, they could not recover. And it's so disappointing. I would rather lose to Minnesota or Winnipeg. Why does it gotta be to the Kings? Why do you gotta have your first embarrassing game of the season against Los Angeles? Like I despise the Kings. All right, like
we all do.
The Kings pretty much are like that D-bag you see on the road kicking a stray dog. All right. I have no problems kicking that guy in the face and then going back for rounds 2 and 3. And I had to watch the guy kick the dog a few times tonight. So I don't know. D-backs are in the World Series and I'm still mad.
Anyways, though, we're gonna continue to talk about this Coyotes loss to the LA Kings as well as get a couple other things, maybe a couple other things we noticed, a couple other analysis. We'll get to all of that right after this.
We got a word from eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guarantee Fit available only to U.S. customers.
Thanks again, everyone, for making Locked On Coyotes your first listen every day. As a reminder, once again, we are free and available everywhere you get your podcast. But for your second listen today, be sure to check out Locked On Diamondbacks, as they're set to break down the Diamondbacks' first trip to the World Series in 22 years. I'm pretty sure a lot of you Arizona fans are excited for that. I can tell here in Arizona already. I've been hearing all the fans. So if you're a fan of the Diamondbacks, check out Locked On Diamondbacks. They got you covered for all things Arizona Diamondbacks.
I was 5 when they were last in the World Series. I was 5 years old, and my wife was like a baby. That's how long it's been since the D-backs were in the World Series. I wasn't even in school yet.
Damn.
Oh my God. Oh my God, the suffering. Arizona sports is pain. It is pain. We are all
Matt is the embodiment of an Arizona sports fan right there. You could just feel that in the soul.
We haven't been irrelevant since I was literally a child. I wasn't even educated. I was still crapping I still crap myself, but I was still crapping myself on the regular when this franchise was relevant.
Anyways, though, let's get back to the talking about the Coyotes for a little bit. We might be able to branch off a little bit later, but let's get back to talking about the Coyotes, Matthew. One thing we talked about is pretty much when we talked about, hey, yeah, you know what, this team has got better talent, but they're still making the same fundamental mistakes. An example, I guess, in terms of like a team that has better, that shows a team with better talent. Of course, yeah, you can take a look at Zucker. You could take actually, he's out for a little bit. I almost forgot about that, but he's also week to week, by the way, because we didn't actually do that update. We'll get more into that maybe in a little bit. But a lot of better talent out there. Logan Cooley is still not got his first goal, Matthew. He's just racking on points. What now? 6 games, 5 points. So it's just under a point per game. But like, what is keeping this dude from scoring? We need him to score.
Watching him, I think he is still power play wise, specifically on the power play, he is still stuck in the Clayton Keller's the boss, and Clayton Keller is the boss, obviously, but when the entire offense, like if you watch a couple of those power plays, and so far this season, it's always been get it over to Keller, and then Keller either shoots or makes the extra pass. Now, on that power play, when they got extra time, when the goal got waved off, Cooley did get a shot off, and they were going a little more to the left side. I don't know if he wasn't comfortable. I don't know if he still thinks he has to pass. I'm not 100% sure what it is, but something looks a little uncomfortable on that side. Perhaps switch him over to Keller's side because Keller can set up whenever, or have him do power play unit 2 and not play with Cooley or with Keller anymore. And sometimes, divvying it up does end up helping. I kind of noticed that. It looked like he was a little uncomfortable over there on the left side. A little bit of pressure towards the end of the game. They're trying to get back into it. That could have been a factor. But that did particularly stick out to me today watching one of those that power play in the third period.
It definitely makes sense. And, and I think the thing we also have to remember is Cooley's young, right? He's 18. So
19,
right?
he can drink in Canada.
Yeah,
he can have a brewski.
Yeah, my brain was off for a year for some reason. He's 19, yes. But that's for again for many players that's still really, really young and early on in the development. Yeah, sure, he's drafted 3rd overall and arguably the best prospect out of the 2022 draft. But I mean,
it's also interesting that he's still technically the rookie points leader. Last I saw, like he's still up at the top because he is the GOAT.
Yeah, it sure is interesting. But there you go, Locked On Cooley. Never ends.
I'm never gonna put that jersey away. It's got to be here for easy access. That and the Jackery McBain, the McBain Payne train finally got his first goal of the year. That's a positive. You want to jump into positives before the second break? Do you want to get positive for a minute?
Let's get some positive.
I feel like I have complained. Robyn let me vent, and now I'm feeling better. That and I'm having an existential crisis.
Venting is always important.
So the game starts off. McBain, 3 minutes in, his first from Boyd and Michelli. It was a fun goal to watch. I think he pokes it in off that rebound, right? Everything's a little bit blurry. I was split attention. I was standing in the doorway for that one. Good way to start the game. And then in the second period, Bukestad, his second from Krause and Carcone, and then Keller, that was, Schmaltz, Cooley, Keller on the power play. It's 4-3 heading into the third period. They kept themselves into it, minus that terrible stretch of approximately 4 minutes and 21 seconds where they gave up 3 unanswered goals after the McBain goal. They at least kept in it and bounced back, and that's what you like to see. But, just matter of fact, if you take away those 3 goals and then the empty netter doesn't go in, that's a 3-2 Coyotes win. So don't do that next time. Oh, there's my cynicism. I'm sorry. Robyn, take over for the positivity. Cynicism's coming back out.
No, I mean, I hear you. We're able to see some of that. I'm trying to see if I can get back to my stats because I've literally lost so much because I have freaking, a million tabs open.
I only have 2. I got this and NHL.com. That's it.
See, my million tabs open happens to be because, I want to make sure I got all the right stuff for everybody, all the right information. But to me, I think in terms of I guess a pause that we can take out of it is, in general, well, one, Keller just continues to be Keller.
Yep.
Right.
Also, not as many turnovers. He's cleaning it up as the season's going on, like we figured.
Exactly. And two, it just kind of sets up the tone. I feel like it's kind of more of like, not necessarily a positive, but sort of like a neutral stance for me. Just get an idea for you all. This really just sets the tone of like a baseline of what the Coyotes can do for the next games against the Kings, because they're playing against the Kings again on Friday, just a couple days away, and that's home. That's the Pride Night game. We'll get to the preview for that game.
Game 1 of the World Series, by the way.
Yeah, but game 1 of the World Series is going to be in Texas, so we'll
Are we flying to Texas for that one, Robyn?
No.
The Giants fan over here that disgusts me.
Whoa, hold on. Yes, I am a Giants fan.
Boo.
Despite that, and despite Bruce Bochy coaching the Rangers, I am cheering all in on embracing the chaos.
Good. All right. Never mind. I'm less disgusted with you now. I'm a little less disgusted with you.
There we go. But again, it just sets the baseline for the next few times that the Coyotes and the Kings go against each other, as we kind of get an idea what to get. And again, once, like I said, the Kings are a good team. You cannot discount that.
Yep.
So, but
playoff team, good team.
Exactly, they are a good team.
The Coyotes are not a playoff team.
They're like, they're like kind of like barely skating outside, but like surprising people because like, hey, we're actually not that bad.
Let's see. I want to double check the standings to see where they are technically at. They're 5th in the West. No, 5th in the Central. I don't know why I just said West. Playoff picture. Show me wild card. Are they still in the playoffs? They are the second wild card team still. All right.
Hey.
They're maintaining it.
There we go. That's the thing that's a little positive thing we can do before getting to a second break, and we'll talk a little bit more about the Coyotes in just a sec. But first, a quick word from our sponsors on today's show. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Have you been frustrated trying to buy a ticket and you look online everywhere you can go and you see different prices, but you can't understand exactly where those tickets are, or you get surprised by these insane fees like, oh, it's a $20 ticket, but ends up after fees costing you $60. I know, I am completely frustrated by that. Game Time is out there to fix everything for you. They got last minute tickets, flash deals, zone deals, and all different kinds of things in between. Easy to find tickets. You can buy them straight from the app, and you can get your views from the seats in within the venues. Can you kind of get an idea of what kind of ticket you are buying? And they have the lowest price guaranteed, event cancellation protection, job loss protection, and more. Plus, the best part to me is the fact that they have all-in pricing so that you can see exactly what you're paying for before, like, after fees. Essentially, like, if you see a ticket that says $60, it is going to be $60, no more, no less. Unless, I mean, it could be less if you use our promo code. We'll get to that in just a sec. But you could take, so you know what? Just take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDON NHL. That's LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Ever notice all of our sponsors have the lowest price guaranteed?
I know, right?
I like how we're getting those kind of sponsors, making sure, saving you some money. Anyway.
Absolutely. Love that. Anyways, you know what I want to do? I kind of want to do a little thought process here, Matthew. Again, they were talking about different, venues here and, much different sizes, but game, I think, what is it? Game 3 of the World Series at home is the same night as Logan Cooley versus Connor Bedard. This is, I mean, there's going to be a lot of attention in the Valley on one night, the night before Halloween.
Yes, I actually have inside information. The Coyotes have sold 0 tickets to that game. No one will show up, and it will all be World Series traffic, and maybe some people hanging out at the bars to watch the World Series. It's gonna be an empty barn. But no, it's gonna be exciting that we actually have a more competitive Coyotes team, a solid matchup between the 2 best prospects in the league right now, the 2 best rookies, and then literally a championship game over here, a championship series. One of I think actually is in North American sports like the longest running championships. That's fun to think about. And then we had the finals 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think it's the longest running championship series. However, not the oldest trophy.
Well, isn't the oldest trophy in Europe? Isn't it the?
Well, I'm talking about North American sports.
What's the oldest trophy in North American sports?
It's the Stanley Cup, dude.
No, baseball's been around longer than the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, but the Commissioner's Trophy has only been around since the 20s. The Stanley Cup's been around since the late 1800s.
You know what? I want to fact check the first World Series.
Yeah, no, but see, there's a difference between the first World Series and the Commissioner's Trophy.
Yeah, but it's still the same championship, just a different trophy. So it's a World Series. 1903. That's back when. That's back in my day. I'm in 1900s, baby. Back in my day. Oh my God.
Hold on, and now year Stanley Cup was first awarded.
Wasn't it 1912?
No, it was not. 1893.
Wow, I cannot believe. I'm always constantly.
It is the oldest trophy that could be won by professional athletes in North America.
Damn. For the least popular of the 4 major sports, we sure had the longest running trophy. Anyway.
But back to what we were saying. But yes, you got
my incorrectness.
Yes, but we got some pretty fun stuff happening in the next week if you're an Arizona sports fan.
Mm-hmm.
You got the World Series going down in downtown Phoenix, and then you got over at ASU in Tempe, you got the top 2 prospects in the world pitted up against each other.
Yes. Trying to stay awake. Sorry, guys. Yes, that is 100% what's going on. And like I said, also mentioned the finals that was here, the NBA Finals a couple years ago. I don't know. It's a very nice time to be a Valley sports fan right now. Minus the heartbreak.
I mean, also, the Super Bowl is here pretty often.
Yeah, I think we've had 3 since University of Phoenix Stadium went up in was that 05 or was that 06?
Something like that.
I'll double check while you're filibustering.
I mean, no, you're right. I think that's the it's just so much going on in Valley sports in general.
06.
There it goes, 06. So there's a lot to be excited for. And I know some of you might be debating what where you're going to get your tickets to, or what you're going to be watching. Because again, look, I know if you're a D-backs fan, the World Series is a once in a lifetime opportunity.
You
But
see, I want to go. The cheapest ticket was $300, and you have to buy 2 of them. The paycheck I'm going to get in a couple of days, I'll be lucky if it's $300.
dude, I thought I saw.
I'll sit top 300 section, top row, top seat. Make it $80, and I'll do it.
Standing room only. I don't care.
I will be. Look, listen. Hey, if you work for the D-backs and you're watching this and you take pity on fat people, I will sit in a garbage can and I will bang on it whenever I think the D-backs have off-speed pitches, just to give Texas an advantage again, just so I can watch the World Series live.
Sure, that works.
Before we forget, do you want to talk about the Jason Zucker injury update?
Yeah, Jason Zucker, out. Was it? We're lower body injuries, what is officially reported.
I think his was upper, Carcone's was lower, but it might be reversed.
Yeah,
one was the other.
I think Zucker was the lower body, and so he's gonna be out week to week. Which is, that just makes it even worse because it's worse than day to day. But luckily, not IR. So they're just kind of like, all right, we'll just kind of play it by ear each week and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But it still is a pretty, tough loss, especially that Zucker was kind of growing some momentum. He had a pretty solid start to the year, and he gets injured. I think if you're a Coyotes fan, that kind of stinks.
Oh yeah, because he does not play like a veteran. Well, he plays like Logan Cooley, where he's like everywhere in the offensive zone, scrappy, like the kid doesn't have a roster spot, kind of.
Right.
That's how he was playing, and it was really weird to see, but it was a pleasant surprise. And now he goes out week to week. I know general rule of thumb, day to day, you're out about a week. Week to week, you're out about a month. That's just a general rule of thumb you could follow. Carcone luckily had the non-contact jersey in practice, did end up playing. So Boyd comes in. Neither Sanford nor Unique ended up playing in this game. But then when you lose someone, it isn't even skating. It might be a longer term injury, and that really sucks because the older you get, the harder it is to recover from a lot of injuries. And also, he was off to a pretty solid start on a new team. Now you take away 2 to 4 weeks of that. It's going to hurt his game and his production regardless. And considering how well he was fitting in with the Coyotes, that's going to slow him down a little bit.
Absolutely. Hey, there was a question kind of like generally put out there when the injury happened and the call-ups of Sanford and Unique were out there. The question was regarding why not Gunther? And I feel like to me, this is my opinion, I feel like Gunther still needs to just get used to the team in Tucson. Just a little bit more, I feel like.
I think it's a little harder for me. For me, it's a little harder to answer because with Gunther, Zucker was playing top 6. Gunther would be a top 6 player, so you usually call up what you need. So that actually does line up with need. However, kind of piggybacking off your point, a little more time getting used to the AHL, but also you probably don't want to throw him off his groove because he didn't score in the first game, but he's got a couple of games where he's scoring some goals now. If he's starting to get that rhythm, you don't want to. Wow, my voice is just gone today. If he's starting to get that rhythm, you don't want to knock him off it too early. So it kind of makes sense, especially if you already have Kerfoot that can temporarily play in the top 6 and Boyd goes on the 4th line. It does make a degree of sense. Like, hey, we're going to kind of leave it be. Sanford and Unique can get called up. I'm assuming one of them will be sent back down probably tomorrow morning. Just because they ended up using him. So let's just say it's Unique since Sanford has already played in the NHL and he's not really a prospect. He's an older vet. So that's my personal guess. But it is a little weird that the need did actually line up and it didn't end up happening that way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anything else you want to touch on before we close things off?
No, I want to go to bed. I'm tired. I'm tired.
Fair enough. Anyways, that's going to be it for today's episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. If you like what you heard, don't forget to leave a review, like, comment, subscribe if you have yet to already. We're available everywhere you get your podcast, including on YouTube, the Sirius XM radio app, and ad-free on Amazon Music. As a quick reminder, once again, make your second listen Locked On Diamondbacks. They're going off the World Series for the first time in 22 years. So Locked On Diamondbacks is your podcast to listen to for all things Diamondbacks. But don't forget to interact with us and follow us on social media. That we're on Facebook, facebook.com/LockedOnCoyotes, and on X at LO_Coyotes. As you can see, if you watch on YouTube, we've actually upgraded our graphics there for our personal handles. I am at Robyn_Leonio. Matthew Jacobson is at the AZ Sports Guy. Interact with us. Ask a question you might have. We might answer right back or on a future episode of the Locked On Coyotes podcast. Thanks again, everyone, for listening to today's episode. Hope you guys are staying safe out there. Hope you guys are staying healthy. And don't forget to howl on.